Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be reviewing one of the most controversial movies of the year in the new Ghostbusters, directed by Paul Feig. This is a reboot of the iconic franchise, which somehow became iconic, even though it only has two films in the franchise, which I both own on Blu-ray. First of all, I grew up with these films. I watched them over and over again. I'd say I love both of them. I especially adore the first one. The second one I haven't seen in a long time, so maybe it doesn't hold up quite as well. I haven't seen it in a few years. But the first one I watched like 3 days ago, and it still holds up great. And this movie has been getting a lot of hate, and I didn't hate the first trailer. I hated all the marketing after that first trailer, but I didn't hate the first trailer. I have liked Paul Feig's previous films. For example, I have Bridesmaids on Blu-ray. I also own Spy, but I couldn't find it on short notice. I've liked all the movies I've seen with Paul Feig. I was excited when I found out he was doing a new Ghostbusters film. I like the cast. I like Kristen Wiig, mainly because I like Bridesmaids. I like when Melissa McCarthy teams up with Paul Feig, so I was optimistic going in, but the marketing did this movie no favors in classic Paul Feig fashion. Because actually, I didn't think it was representative of the movie very much at all. I thought the movie was very enjoyable throughout, and I had a really good time watching this movie. I laughed a lot. This film definitely has that classic Paul Feig humor to it. The script is very witty, it's quick at points. The cast has tremendous chemistry with one another. And my favorite parts of the movie were when they were just talking and hanging out. The movie starts off great, in my opinion. The first half hour, I couldn't believe how good this movie was for me. I was so into it. I was laughing at every joke. There were multiple times that I was like nearly falling out of my chair laughing. I was like, this is really funny, and I'm really connecting with these characters. I thought I was not gonna like Melissa McCarthy in this film from the trailers. She came off very relatable in this film. I thought Kate McKinnon was gonna be really over the top. No, not really. I mean, there are times she's over the top, but I really enjoyed when she was on screen. There are a few times that Kate McKinnon's character does become a little grating. She gets a little annoying. She's the quirky archetype in this film. And it's like, oh, okay, can you actually act like a human being and not just like this cartoon character sometimes? But majority of the time, it does work. One of her early gags was one of the best laughs I had in the entire film. In addition to the previously mentioned Ghostbusters, my favorite Ghostbuster was probably Kristen Wiig's character. A lot of her jokes landed for me. I just thought she was the most relatable character of the bunch. The movie starts off on her, or at least after the prologue type sequence, the movie starts off on her, and it's her character that kind of starts this chain of events. Basically, every time Kristen Wiig was on screen, I was enjoying the movie. I thought it was pretty fun. And the last Ghostbuster I'm going to mention is Leslie Jones's character. She was probably my least favorite character of the bunch. Not to say she was bad. It's partially because the way the movie's written, once her character is introduced, the movie starts getting worse. It's still enjoyable, but it's no longer in that, like, wow, I can't wait to watch this again level that it was in the first half hour, or first 25 minutes, however long it is. It's like, oh, okay, the movie's still good, but it's kind of grinding to a halt, and that's when the pacing issues in the movie started happening. And she just had the least effective comedic moments for me. But I still enjoyed her character, and I'm glad she's in the movie. And my favorite character in this film is played by Chris Hemsworth. His name is Kevin. He's the secretary. As soon as he was cast, I was super hyped to see him in this movie, because I'm like, that's incredible casting. I can't wait to see Chris Hemsworth be the secretary for this all-female Ghostbusters team. And he was great. Yes, he just plays the dumb dude, and all the jokes stem from his lack of intelligence. But I don't care. It was still really funny, and I was laughing at every single time that they made a dumb joke about him. He was very effective in this film. And speaking of his character, I hope that that's how they're going to do the Ghostbusters cinematic universe that was rumored to be in development at Sony a year ago. And they had that rumored Chris Pratt, Channing Tatum film. I hope that if he goes to franchise the Ghostbusters, he goes and he gets Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum and a fourth actor who I can't think of right now to join him. I would be so down for that movie. I remember Joe and Anthony Russo wanted to produce that film. Sony, do that. That sounds fantastic. I'd say the worst part of this movie is its over-reliance on trying to reference the original film. Sometimes it works. There's a lot of similar techniques used in the original Ghostbusters film in terms of story structure and pacing that they use in this film, and I'm like, when they do that, it works. Sometimes they reference the original film, like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge type of deal, and that also works. But sometimes it's like, oh, we're going to get another cameo. There's so many cameos in this movie. And I guess a lot of them are really short, but I didn't care for any of them at all. I was like, oh my god, we're seeing more of the original cast? I don't care. I'm glad to see them, I guess. But actually, no, I'm not glad to see them. It ruins the pacing of the movie, because you have to stop for a minute and a half for this small Bill Murray cameo, and I'm like, Why is he in the movie? It doesn't. That was my least favorite part. No, actually, my least favorite part was the Fall Out Boy theme song, which is complete garbage. And when they play that song in the movie, I still got semi chills because everything else was so good in that sequence, and it kind of worked in the movie. But I couldn't imagine how great it would have been had they just had the original Ghostbusters theme play during that scene. It would have been so much better. The Fall Out Boy theme sucks, and it's worst part of the movie. The third act, which is the big climactic sequence you see in all the trailers, it definitely looks pretty. The CGI is very impressive. The 3D in this movie, by the way, is fantastic. I saw the movie in 3D, and because all the CGI and the ghosts, it actually like creates a really solid depth to the frame. But that third act, where it's just this huge climactic action set piece, I was like, I understand you're doing this because it's a summer movie, but honestly, I would much rather this be like a smaller business startup movie, and then maybe have a small like 5-minute sequence at the end. But honestly, I would rather they got bigger in the sequels and just had this be like a cool, fun action comedy film. Walking out the theater, I thought the movie was about 2 hours long. It's actually 105 minutes, and I credit that to the pacing issues that I mentioned previously. I found my biggest complaints of the film is that it starts off so great, and then it's just like, oh, I mean, this is good, it's enjoyable, but it's not as good as it could be. And then it goes from like fantastic to fluctuating in quality until it ends, and you're like, well, I'm excited to see a new one. I am excited to see this Ghostbusters franchise continue. If Paul Feig comes back for the sequel, I'll be very excited to see that movie. So all in all, I think Ghostbusters 2016, or Answer the Call, or Who You Gonna Call, it's really confusing what the name of this movie even is, but Ghostbusters 2016 is a solid reboot of the franchise that I think that you will have a good time watching. I saw this movie with about 7 or 8 of my friends, and none of us walked out disliking the movie. One of my friends walked out saying, I had a really good time. I don't think the movie's really good, but I had a really good time. Another one of my friends thought it was very average, very okay. And they were probably the least happy of the final product. A lot of us were like, yeah, that was actually a pretty solid movie. And I think if you do give this movie a chance, you will have a solid and enjoyable time. You will laugh a lot, the CGI is impressive, and the cast chemistry is fantastic. Overall, I'll give this movie like a 3.5 out of 5. It's tentative. It could fluctuate a little bit down, a little bit up. I'm going to see this movie again Thursday night because I actually enjoyed it that much that I do want to see it again. That's my review for the rebooted Ghostbusters film. I hope you enjoyed this review. Like the video if you had a good time. So subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at Dylan Mickanen, DYLAN, all the links will be down below in the description. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.